you guys.
Why not jump on if you're just driving? Just don't take your eyes off the road, Shante.
Yeah.
I have
It
to
is
drop
a
him off.
one.
Thank you.
So we're gonna get started since we just unmuted. We got going here. I didn't realize it was already 11:01. So let me get this ready. We're recording. We got more people coming in person. We got more people gonna jump on Zoom, but you guys are on time. So let's get about it. We're excited to have Missy here. We love Missy. Actually, she was just talking to Eric. Eric did you guys meet when you played at his wedding?
Yes, that
Okay,
was the
so-
first time we had ever met. They came and saw us at a gig at one of the bars that we played at.
Yeah, so Missy and her husband have a band, and so they played at Eric's wedding. And then when we started doing events, and I think the first one you played at was our first Top Golf
Yes.
event. They played, it was just awesome. Now she's part of the family. We just love her. She also runs a transaction coordination company. So she's got, it's not just her, she's got TCs underneath her. Important topic, right? A lot of us, hi, how are you? Good.
You just passed your test, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So I'm fortunate. My daughter who works for me, she's on Zoom there, Ashley. Ashley does my TC work, so it's in-house. But a lot of us, as we get started, we're trying to do it ourselves. We're maybe not lead generating as much or working with clients as much because we're sitting at our computer, we're doing the back end stuff. So we thought this would be a great topic to just go over all of the things that TC can do to help people do more business, because let somebody do what they're good at and you do what you're good at. I just read a book and I bring it up all the time because it was impactful on me. It's Who, Not How. This is a who. Right? Who do you need to help you with your business? It's not like, how do I do everything? Because I'm a do everything kind of a person, right? It's like, okay, how do I do this? How do I do that? It's kind of opened my mind. It's like, okay, you're doing too much. You're doing some things that you shouldn't be doing. So you need some more who's in your life. And so that's kind of how that came about. And so I'm gonna let Missy give you any more background on her that she wants, and then we'll kind of tear into it. So.
Awesome.
I like that
Thanks,
you
Jack.
just wrote that down.
I know, I'm such a nerd. I write everything down. I mean, seriously, this is my brain, because if I don't write things down, I'll forget everything I do. And that's what, that's what you need as a TC. You need somebody nerdy, and I'm extremely nerdy when it comes to the computer, but what my goal is to make all my agents look amazing, right? You don't do TC work to make $1 million. You make $1 million if you're selling real estate, right? Or recruiting. But really, a TC has a kind of a different mindset. If you're a buyer's agent, you kind of naturally move into that TC realm because you're a nurturer. And so, those are the type of things that you want to look for in a TC, not someone that's just kind of blah. But somebody that's going to be fun, just help you, make you look amazing. That's kind of my goal. So for everyone on the team, what do you mean?
Sorry, there's gonna be, just ignore me when I move around.
Oh, okay.
I just feel like do stuff. Chase is like, where's the clicker? I forgot to get your little clicker.
I want a clicker.
Yeah.
I know, I need a clicker.
Go back.
That's the only thing I like about playing music with my husband is I can hit the mute button on him whenever I want, and he can't talk. It's awesome. Okay. What's that? Oh.
Sorry, I broke your momentum.
No, you're fine.
At least I hit record already.
Yeah, no, you're fine. You're fine. So I wanted to just kind of ask some questions, okay? Because this is why I got into TC work. You guys, have you ever had a deal fall apart right before closing?
Raise of hands.
I can say that because I've been in the business for over 20 years. Yeah, several deals fall apart, mid to closing, because either the buyer or the seller don't like each other or something weird happens, but then chaos seems to fall apart, right? So with that, oh, that's me.
You weren't even using the slides yet, right? We were just starting on the wrong one, huh?
No, that's fine. This is me.
So
That's
there she is.
me.
That's such a cute.
Oh, thanks. That's what I was
There's
got.
your clicker.
Okay. I don't take pictures of myself. Okay. Have you ever had an agent not return your phone calls? Yes. I think even if you're a client, that happens all the time, right? And have you ever had a falling out with your buyer or your seller where you didn't communicate very well and they wanted to fire you, or it just kind of turned into more of a headache than it was fun to do your job? Yes. Have you ever lost earnest money because you missed a deadline? Like you just missed it by like a day, and you ever lost earnest money?
Nobody in this room.
No.
Yeah, when a newer agent begins the business, it happens a lot. And that's why when you're starting out in real estate, it's nice to have another set of eyes to really be that, you know, constant reminder, oh, you have a deadline coming up. Don't forget, this deadline is, you know, this is where we're gonna lose our earnest money. So, you know, that's another thing. The biggest one that I think that agents are really bad about is, have you ever had to work on your vacations? All the time, right? Because you don't have somebody to delegate it to. You don't have a partner in crime that you could say, oh my gosh, of course, the second I leave on vacation, I have 3 buyers that want to see this house. I have 2 listings going under contract. Oh my God, I have to work the whole time, right? Happens. No matter what, it's just Murphy's Law. When you go on vacation, you're done. You're gonna get more business than you ever have. Did you not get paid because you didn't know sky slope? Right? Or your payment was delayed because you didn't know the forms that you needed? EXP has a bunch of other forms, of course, that you guys know, that other agencies don't use. And so if you are not familiar with sky slope, which a lot of agents aren't, right? Because it's a newer software for a lot of the other agents outside of EXP. So if you don't know sky slope, it's hard to get all of your paperwork in and get paid on time because you won't get paid until it is, right? So that's a big one for me as a TC. I'm a sky slope nerd, so I know way too many tricks of the trade when it comes to sky slope. So that's just something, you know, agents have a panic attack about. Oh yeah, and then, you know, kind of the same thing. Did you not get paid because you didn't know about the affiliated business form, or that EXP has their own wire forms? And did you know that EXP no longer wires directly into your account after title? So you have to provide all of your accounting information, your checking account, or if you want to get a check, and where is that check going to go? Your home. You have to have all that information before closing so that you're ready to close and you get paid on time. Also, the other thing is with EXP, which a lot of companies don't do, is a CDA, right? And sometimes the CDAs don't come on time, especially if you're closing early. That's a big one. You have to reach out to the broker and say, oh my gosh, we're closing a week early and I need the CDA. The closing they're just doing it tomorrow, right? So you need somebody to be able to get in there and get in the ASAP, like I need this paperwork right now. And most agents are out showing property, taking listings, running the kids to school. You know, we all have lives, right? So that's kind of why I kind of got into TC business, because these happened to me as a newer agent, and these seem to be a repetitive pattern for other agents in the industry that I was running into, especially for agents that don't get a lot of training, right? And cute Jen just walked in from Metro Title. These are my bestie girlfriends, so they're like, if you have no like deep relationship with a title company, these are the girls to know, because they know crazy stuff that's going on that nobody knows. I don't know where they find this out, but they do. All right, so moving on. About me, that's me. You know, I've just been a transaction coordinator for 20 years. I've worked for several brokerages and always been a buyer's agent. I've always been a team manager. So not only do I do the TC, but I'm helping drive social media, creation of social media, as well as other marketing tools, open houses, those types of things. So for me, I'm nerdy. I really like this stuff. I'm a musician, but I'm really nerdy. So I really dig it, you know. That's a little bit about me. Why did it go backwards? kind of a couple of things. Why do you need a TC? Right? Because, you know, as agents, we want to pay as least amount so we get our full closing costs, right? We don't have to, I mean, we already pay for the pictures, we're paying for the open house stuff, you know, we're doing a lot. So another fee kind of closes off agents like, oh, I can do this myself. I don't need help, right? So what I do is I dot the T's. Oh, no, I always say that backwards. I cross the T's and dot the I's. No, I'm dyslexic in some ways when I talk. So forgive me, but I can't think of words like table. It's really funny. My brain goes faster than my mouth. So even though I talk really fast. But basically you send me the paperwork and I clean it up for you. One of the biggest things that I see constantly is on the rep Cs, especially with SkySlope, check marks. Right? Compliance is like completely ridiculous about check marks, but you have to do it, right? So before you upload them to SkySlope, make sure the check marks are in there, those types of things, okay? The other thing that I do as a TC is I show up, I make sure that every single morning I'm there for you. And if you have listing appointments or buyer's appointments and you don't have your own materials, like that you've created a buyer's packet, a listing packet. I was going to bring a couple of those today, but I was running late. So if you haven't ever done any of those, I create those for you. You know, other things like just simple branded things that just make you stand out from the crowd. The social media, the listing packets and the buyer's packets, but also like we'll get into this like bookmarks for bottles at an open house or labels, just all sorts of things. So those are things that I like to create and I'm really good at it. I've been in marketing and advertising throughout my real estate career for Disney, Media One, Hewlett Packard and Adobe Acrobat. So for me, I'm a nerd, and that's what you want in a TC partner, right? Because you want somebody that kind of do the things that you don't have time to do or the things that you're not good at. You know, a lot of people don't know how to use a lot of this software, right? And there's so many easy softwares out there. I mean, the easiest one that you can learn is Canva if you haven't used it. But I mean, it takes so much time out of your day to just go into Canva and overthink things, right? So the other thing is that why you need a TC is, like I was saying, compliance. Compliance is huge. If you don't get paid, I don't get paid, right? So it's my job to make sure that every check mark's on there, every addenda is correct, that the right names are on there. I know that sounds silly, but that happens a lot. Make sure that title's aware of what's going on, that the lenders are aware of what's going on, and you know, really just a number of things. And so this is just a basic why you need a TC. This is everything a TC does, okay, or everything that a TC should do. Oh, I can't see. You know, coordinate the opening of the file with escrow and handle all of the documents, introduction emails sent out to providing a timeline of deadlines with a copy of the executed contract to both the buyer and seller, ensure everything is fully executed with dates, initial signatures, submit all required contract documents to the broker for compliance, send request disclosures, ensure the lender, verify earnest money, and 1,000 other things. This is what takes the most time out of your day as an agent, because some agents like to push paperwork around. That's an old term because I'm an old lady, but I'm getting really old. But when I first started in real estate, it was common to look busy by diving into the paperwork, right? And that takes out everything that you're supposed to be doing. It's just an excuse for you not to prospect, not to go out and do the things that you should do as an agent, get some training done, whatever it may be. This is what keeps you from being way productive. You know, you need to delegate those things to other people. Like Jeff said, you do what you do best and you delegate the rest, because I'm not I'm not a listing agent. I've always been a buyer's agent. Every time I get a listing, I have anxiety that it's not gonna close and, you know, it's just not my thing. So I refer all of my listings out to other agents. That's just how it goes. I will work with your buyers every day of the week. It's just how it goes. I love working with buyers. Okay, so, oh, my phone's vibrating. This is basically what I do on a listing. So beyond what I just showed you on the about 100 things on that list and more, on a listing, I'll literally take it from the listing creation, all of your listing paperwork. If you don't have time to fill out the paperwork, or if I'm in a transaction, in the middle of a transaction, and you're just moving over to EXP, or you know, you've never worked with a TC before and you're kind of midway through it and you just figure out that you need somebody to help you. I clean up the file, but I take it through from the very beginnings, put all of the information, get all of the paperwork ahead of time, seller's disclosures, listing input, you know, the MLS exclusion form. Agents are horrible with the MLS exclusion form because I don't think they've been taught really how important that form is. If you're waiting for pictures and you're not 3 days into the MLS after you've gone under contract at your ERS, you have 3 days to put it on the MLS or you can be fined. So without the exclusion form, you won't be able to put it on the MLS without getting a fee. Does that make sense? So that little form is really important. But basically I take you through the entire listing. Order the photos, create a flyer, set up staging if necessary. If you haven't used staging for your listings, I mean, this is a different market, but in a slower listing market, staging is everything. Pictures are everything. It's all about that showing presence for a listing. I'm really good at marketing your listing. I'm just an anxiety taking a listing. So I set up everything from ordering your signs to making sure that you have a lockbox, right? And basically asking the sellers to make a copy of house keys. I know that sounds silly, but we always run into the agent forgets to ask them for keys, and all of a sudden it's gone live and literally how do we get into the property? So, you know, schedule the stager, schedule a photographer, and put in MLS. So basically all of the things that you would be doing yourself and taking several hours to do it if you're not fast, if you're not constantly doing this every single day, just repetitively, I can get a file cleaned up and done within an hour. If it's a complete mess, maybe it'll take me 2 hours at most. But really, it's just about repetitiveness, you know, and knowing this system as well as you do. Buyer prep, same thing. I'll get you a buyer packet that makes you just not have to explain everything, right? Like I always explain it is this is really good bathroom reading material because honestly, it's so much information, but it's everything that a buyer really wants to know. You know, like what is earnest money? I know simple things that we forget to explain, but with a buyer's packet and a listing packet, you don't have to really dig into the dumb details that you would expect people to understand. Duh, you're selling your house and you're buying a house. You would expect them to already know, but they don't, right? So having these little extra things really make you a lot more prestigious than other agents. Okay, so with the buyer, again, or preliminary title, that always gets left off until the end for some reason. But you know, just basically going through everything on the checklist, make sure that all the buyers have the right paperwork. Agents have a horrible time sending them all the paperwork to sign at once. Not just the buyer broker, but everything, the buyer's due diligence, the wire, all the forms that they have to sign so you can get paid. Those are things that I make sure that you guys are taking care of. So you don't have to do those things. I take care of all of that. Me and my best friend, Natalie. This is Natalie Hansen, Levin Hansen, Levin, whatever you call it. And then Karen is also a TC. She is my first guinea pig in my TC university, which I'm creating. And she's gotten all my tools and tricks as well. So she's implementing those things. So if you need TCs, we're here in-house, as well as I have been recruited for Colorado internally for EXP. So that's going on too. They have an internal TC department, and it's for every single state. But I really like having the personal connection of being able to pick up a phone or, have a little bit more communication with your agents. Like I'm meeting some of the agents that I do their files for the first time today because they just moved over to EXP. Those are things that I like to be a part of, So that's going to be a little different.
Do you do other states as well? Or?
Yes. So I've done Hawaii, Las Vegas, Colorado, Idaho.
I know we got Oregon on Zoom.
Oregon I have not done, but once you are so ingrained with what we do every day, just the only differences are, the rep C. So you just have to kind of go through and make sure you have the rep C. Hawaii is probably the biggest pain in the butt to do because they do things so much differently. The surveys, the pest inspection, a lot of different creepy things that you have to do in Hawaii, and it takes forever. Like their escrows don't close for about 6 months. They're very slow. So those are things that you just kind of pick up along the way.
So is that something that our agents in other states can talk to you about?
Oh,
If
absolutely.
you're not already doing it, you're open to.
Yes,
Get you set up.
absolutely. We can get you set
Okay.
up, virtually. That's how we are working.
She's
She's my
popular
phone.
today.
Well, I know, if this is nonstop, it's probably one agent that can't think for himself. Oh, it's my photographer. That's not the agent. Okay. All right. Anyway, so yeah, I set up all of your photography. I will field calls for you on your listings if you need to. If you're going out of town, I'm your partner in crime. We switch over the showing time to me, and I set up the appointments for your clients, right? Or show them the properties, as well as I just take care of your listing while you're on vacation. If it goes under contract or on vacation, right on. I can negotiate the deal for you. So that's why you need a TC, because we don't really take a lot of vacations, right? I mean, I don't take vacations throughout the year, but I might take one day here and there. But really, that's kind of just how I am. I just work a lot, which is what I prefer to do. As well as, I'm very geeky about the whole production of making you look good. So scheduling some headshots for you, really going into your social media and helping you create all of that. Those are things that I do outside of the TC work, which is more that sometimes you need a little bit more branding help. And instead of paying thousands of dollars to do it, those are things that I help you on an hourly wage, which is so much easier. So yeah. So again, everything that you would expect on a buyer side, we take care of it for you. So this is just kind of a little brief overview of some of the things that I've created. That's only just minuscule, what could fit on the page, right? So, the seller's guides, the buyer's guides, net proceeds sheet, which is super helpful for your sellers. So it just makes you, bar none, stand out from the crowd. This one's my favorite. I started doing water bottles because of COVID and everything, but I wanted it to have my branding on it, of course. So instead of buying labels, which is super expensive, and if you don't stay with the company, if information changes. These are really simple. You just cut out the little hole and tie them on with a string, and they look really professional, right? I do a whole open house branding kit for you. So with KV Core, there is some really cool tools that I've geeked out about, right? So they have a virtual open house sign-in, which is way cool. They, and if you've never used it, it's very cool because all of the information goes directly into your KV Core as a new lead, which is everyone that goes in to see the home, because they all lie. Oh, I have an agent. buyers are liars, right? So again, this is another prospecting tool that if you haven't been utilizing, this is a great way to do it. But you can also have them do a sign-in sheet. I have a lot of creation for the open house kit from not just the sign-up sheet, but great little posters for you to put up in all of your listings, as well as, you know, the flyers that are created. I actually change out the flyer if another agent's sitting your open house, so that they look professional too. It's not something that needs to be done, but it just, again, stands you out from the rest, right? You want agents to sit in an open house for you, and making the experience better for them makes it easier for you. So again, it's just those little extra things will make your day. So just listing, social media posts, open house, social media posts and events. Those are things that you can do on social media. If you don't know any social media, again, I can take that on for you. Sorry, I got something away. I can take that on for you at an hourly rate. But if you know how to post something, that's it. I mean, I'll create it for you, but you just post it yourself. No big deal. So that's just a little bit of just the basic popular projects that I do, but I like to be creative and do so much more. And if you don't know KV Core, wow, you're missing out on these freebies that EXP gives you. There is so much that you can do with KV Core that I get excited because I am doing a deep dive and I'm so geeked out over it. There's so many cool things that automatically just transfer in your KV Core and keep you organized to continue doing what you should be doing every day: prospecting, follow up on, you know, calling your sphere of influence to get referrals, those types of things, sending out newsletters. That's another thing that's been very popular for me, is creation of newsletters that are specific to you, instead of, you know, putting up the MLS posts of what happened in the last month and da 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 da. You know, if you want to be a community expert or a community influencer in your specific area, like I live in Harriman and Riverton, that's where I try and focus my business. But you know, I also focus my business in Heber and Alpine and Midway, because those are just areas I really love. So if you're prospecting in those areas, you know, there's so many things that you can do with KV Core that allows you to just dive in and be the community expert in those areas. So if you don't know KV Core, there's tons of training on it, but those are things that a TC can do for you as well. The other thing, a TC is not a virtual assistant. The difference between the two is a virtual assistant is really more the branding. That's pretty much all they do. Branding for an hourly rate, you know, just content creation. So they'll work on your blog, they'll do your newsletters, but they're a lot more expensive than just paying your TC to do it for you at a bulk price, you know. And it's not an expensive price. $400, you know, for a listing, versus paying an hourly rate when they take their time, and it ends up being $1,000 at the end of the month. There's a lot of difference between a virtual assistant and a TC. I'll probably get in trouble for that, but that's the truth. So this is me. This is my husband. You guys know we play all of the gigs for EXP. We're a total family here. And Michelle, we played her wedding a million years ago. It feels like I'm getting really old. But if it wasn't for Michelle and Eric and Jeff and Lynn, I wouldn't be here. I had no idea what we do at EXP. It just stands out alone from other agencies. And so again, I can also help you with recruitment because I like to geek out on that stuff, right? So, you know, if you don't know how to recruit, we have amazing training from Jeff and Lynn. Use them, utilize them, and stay on the call on Monday for how to recruit your other agents in the EXP, right? So those are fun things that I love to do. But this is my husband, and this is the love of my life, besides my husband. This is my second Remy. This is my daughter. She's 4 and she'll be 5 in July. And she's fun and very busy. So when you call me, like Shane has noticed, every time you actually have me on the phone, she cannot help but want to be on the phone too. So you know, that's gonna happen, that's life, right? And we all have kids and we all have families, and that's what it's about. We wanna make you a part of our family. We wanna partner with you to be that other extension of, I don't have to think about it, it's already done for me. And then we want you to rely on us to be your brain, right? I have cultivated my agents so much that they don't know how to do anything anymore, which is fine. But like, literally, it's like, I can't even read, they can't read an email, you know? It's like, Missy, did you send me that email? Yeah, 5 times. Oh, okay. Are you sure? Can you send it again? It's no big deal. That's just a part of what we do. We want you to rely on us because we want you to be doing what you're doing best, selling, right? Because if you're not making money, I'm not making money, and I'm all about making money, but I want to make you look good while you're doing it. Is there any questions
Hey,
from the group?
I know they probably have a lot of questions. Before we get into that, and this might answer some of them, break it down a little bit more for us, because you mentioned a lot of things
I know.
that I would
A
not
TC
think a
does
TC would have
better.
mentioned,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
I've been making notes, it's like, I gotta talk to her about
I'm
that.
doing the same thing.
So what can somebody expect? It's like, okay, here, because typically you have a flat fee for the TC work
Right.
for a buyer and for a seller,
Mhm.
but you mentioned a lot of other things that are gonna fall in outside of that scope.
Right.
So can you break that out a little bit for us?
Absolutely. So basically, my schedule, I try and really stick from a 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Anything outside of that is going to be off hours, which would be weekends. If I'm working your listing, well, while you're on vacation, that's just something I do, okay? And my husband yells at me all the time because I do way more than the average TC because I care, I really do. And Natalie cares and Karen cares. So, you know, we really want to make you look good, and hopefully you'll send us buyers that you want us to be your partner in crime. You know, that's what it's all about. But 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, and it's just done on a flat fee, right? So your listings and your buyers. If you're on a team, I always try and make the team get a better deal. So if you're working on a team of multiple people, we'll talk out pricing. So I'm flexible with things that I do for teams. But outside of the office hours, it's $25 an hour. So if I'm creating, you know, the listing packets and those types of things off hours, I'm charging the $25 an hour. If I'm already working with you through your files, I don't charge you Monday through Friday from 9 to 5. That's where my husband gets mad at me, because that's, you know, he's like, oh, why are you so cheap? I'm like, I'm not cheap. I just like doing it, you know? So other TCs don't do this, you know? That's what your Utah TC is all about. We want to stand out as your personal partner in TC. So does that break it down enough? Or do you need
A little
other
bit.
questions?
So some of the things that you talked about, like buyers packets and listing packets. So what would you consider the outside of the scope of a transaction? Because you mentioned social media,
Mhm.
different things that they can have you do as well, because you like doing it, but it's
Mhm.
not really part of your $400.
Yeah, right.
So those kind of things. What are those add-ons? It's like, oh, aside from the TC work, I can also help you with these things.
Yeah, so you can get on my website at www, you don't have to say that anymore,
Yeah.
yourutah.tc.com. And there are additional add-ons that
Perfect.
I can show you. But basically, I do social media content if you want it done monthly that you don't, and I'll post it for you. And basically maintain that. So you want to be able to maintain that, but there is a monthly fee. So if you do Instagram and social media and Facebook together, and then add on LinkedIn, you're about $75 a month, which is nothing. A lot of other social media experts charge a lot more. I am not a SEO geek. I'm Google AdWords certified, but I don't play with the SEO. So I would say work on that with KV4. But yeah, those are things that I do outside of what I would do on a flat fee. But basically, the additional things that I do, I've kind of laid it out. CRM cleanup. When you move over from other agencies and you've never used KV Corp, right? Because that's your CRM. If you guys don't know that, that's what it is. as well as your website. But if you're transferring all of your clients, you need to do it before, you need to export all of your clients before you leave the brokerage. Because if you're like with Keller Williams or Presidio, not like Rand Life or anything like that, but the bigger agencies that provide you with dot loop, Century 21, they're all dot loopers. You need to export your files of all of your clients first before you leave the brokerage, because they will close down your accounts and your buyers and sellers become their buyers and sellers. Okay, so that's a huge deal. So CRM cleanup is like $50 an hour because it is more data entry. But I do that as well. Is there any other questions on extracurricular activities outside of the scope? Do you guys have any?
Will you help with KB4?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. So it's basically, I'm doing a deep dive on KB4, but if you've never set up your KB4 account, you've never used it, so I will go in and set it up for you, transport all of your clients into it, and start creating a newsletter that will go up quarterly. That's something that I do off hours, okay? I don't do that on Monday through Friday time. It's always going to be after 5 on the weekends, but it will basically get you going with KB Core, and then we'll have weekly meetings on, this is how you use this, because there's a lot to KB Core, but if you just learn the basics, that's all you really need to do. So if you have a partner that can help you with KB Core, then that's what you want to do. Any other questions?
What happens if like a closing falls apart, like when you never close on it? Do you still charge?
No, that's a good question. So if you don't get paid, I don't get paid, we don't get paid. So that's our job, is to make sure that it doesn't fall apart, right? And if it's a listing, we make sure that it's back up on the market before we even have the cancellation, right? We want to know right then and there so that we can get a new buyer for you as soon as possible. So we're going to do everything in our power to not lose a deal for you. If it's a buyer, that's the harder part because interest rates are rising right now. So a lot of them are pulling out because their house payment's increasing. But yeah, we'll do everything that we can to keep you under contract or help you get a new contract on it. So did you have a question, Lynn?
I was just going to say, I have somebody that's coming over from KW, and so I was just kind of texting her what you just said.
Yeah.
To make sure that.
Keller Williams will cut you off. If the second that you let the broker know that you're leaving, they'll close your account. So any people that you're recruiting, let them know. Also Century 21, because they're dot loop, they own the software. So they think in their minds that they have the right to your clients. That's why the other thing that I recommend is having your clients on a separate database. So either on the Excel spreadsheet or, in your Google contacts, whatever it may be, put it on an extracurricular little spreadsheet so that you can leave with confidence and you know that nobody's going to be stealing your clients. That's the other cool thing about KB Core is once you upload your CRM, all of your clients into KB Core, there's a round robin phone number, right? That goes through the office. If somebody is calling from outside and wants to know if they can go see this listing or whatever. If your contact information is in KB Core, it'll automatically, they'll direct it right to you. Otherwise, it'll go to somebody else in the office on a round robin. Okay, so if you want to put your stamp on your sphere of influence and the people you're prospecting with, maybe you haven't even talked to them yet, but put your stamp on it. So if they do happen to call in, then it gets routed directly to you.
Let me add one thing on that because the question came up, okay, what if we know the same person, right? We got the same friends that's in our KB Core. The importance of communicating with your SOI and actually sending them messages or sending them email because it's intuitive. It's going to say, okay, I'm getting this call or this text from this person. Who was the last person to communicate with them? So if you text somebody from that smart number is what she's talking about.
Yep.
and they text you back, it's not gonna go to somebody else because you're the one in communication and in flow with them, right? So
Exactly.
communicate with your database.
Yeah, and KV Core watches that for you. That's the other cool thing about it.
And you don't
It's
have to
very
use that
interactive.
number, but it's an option.
Yeah, and I would recommend that you do use that number, not on your advertising, just as a standard office number, because KV Core does do that circular round robin. So your clients could be calling in, or your sphere of influence, your best friend could be calling into the office because they couldn't find your cell phone number, right? But they know you work at EXP, so they're reaching out to EXP. You want to have that all hooked up so that your CRM is working for you.
And you can,
Yeah.
for a nominal fee, get your own personal number as well. So where that's not even an issue, it's like, that's your number, only your number.
Right.
And that helps you with automation.
Exactly, and you can use that for all of your social, all of your posts and your
Mhm.
flyers, everything, so that all of it is always coming to you, instead of having that headache of possibly a round robin fight. Yeah.
So let's say somebody's thinking of using Utah
Mhm.
TC, do you do like an initial consult or intake and
Mhm.
find out about their business and kind of go over all the fees and
Yes.
everything?
Yes, so really important. The first conversation always happens over the phone. The second I hang up the phone, I send you an email with what I call my agent onboarding intake form. That is an online Google form that I have you fill out that gives me all of the information about you. Your broker's license number, your license number, who you prefer for title, who you prefer for lender, who's your inspector that you like, your photographer, what's your MLS information, because I can't go put listings up for you if I don't have that info, as well as, just miscellaneous stuff. Your home mailing address. I know that sounds silly, but with clients that I work for, I do a quarterly gift program that if you've never used them, Client Giant. Again, I have like all of these little extra things that I love, but Client Giant is one of my favorites. It's a little expensive, but it's more my thank you, what I would do to my clients. And I look at you as my clients. So I would definitely set you up on a Client Giant thank you program. But yeah, there's so much stuff. It's just overwhelming. But the intake form is like a very important form for me because that's what I use. So I don't have to ask you a million times for passwords. The first time I ever go into your listing, it won't let me go in because it does not recognize my computer. So if I text you right away and say, hey, can you forward me that text message the MLS just sent you? Please answer that text as soon as possible because I can't get back into the MLS until you do. Okay, so it just delays everything, but I'm constantly on contact with you and then with your buyers or sellers in a group text as well. So everybody's always communicating.
Awesome.
Any other questions?
Anybody on Zoom? Unmute yourself, ask questions.
Great job, Missy.
Thanks, buddy.
Always fun. I love your trainings. Your slide just fixed the H in the TC. I couldn't find it and then I found it because I put an H in there.
Oh, for granny. Yeah, that was, see, when I don't wear my glasses, that's the problem. I'm blind. Yeah.
No, this is awesome though. I'm pumped.
You're playing grammar police on.
Hey man, I just
I
gotta make
respect
sure
that. I
everybody's
respect that.
learner.
I'll take it.
Pedro, brother, and I see Pedro on there.
We definitely need to chat sometime in the future. So
Yeah,
we'll do it.
absolutely, dude.
Okay, so the website's also in the chat. Visit her website, kind of get familiar with the things that she does in the
Yeah.
breakdown, and set up a consultation and then
Absolutely.
have a chat. It's a relationship business when it comes to this as well, right?
Absolutely.
Anybody else? Questions?
And then Natalie, this is Natalie. Do you want to come up here? She's not more shy than I am, but I grew up on the stage, so for me, it's
I was a cheerleader.
This is Natalie Levin Hansen.
Hanson.
It's Hansen Levin, but I'm switching it because she's a Hansen, so.
I'm no longer a
Yes,
Levin.
I know, yeah, see, that's why. So
So
this is
you're
my
changing
best
it for
friend.
her.
Yes, so this is my best friend Natalie. She's a TC that's coming over to your Utah TC. So if I'm not available, Natalie is, and we're gonna tag team and make sure that you guys are taken care of. And then again, Karen is doing TC work for Sherry and a couple other agents. So if you can't get a hold of me, Karen's a great resource as well. So I just wanted to introduce you to Natalie because she's moving over to EXP soon. So yeah.
And I'd just like to say, to attest to what Missy's been saying, I've been in the business for 18 years in different genres of real estate. And I've never in my life seen a more organized system than what she's created. I mean, there's no way to fail with what she's got going on. I mean, she's got your back at every angle. I mean, with her, Google Calendar, and I am not a tech geek, so it impressed me so much with how she does this
I
stuff.
see why you
It's
brought her up
just,
here.
I mean, it's so organized, and she's got every, like she said, every T crossed, every I dotted, and it's making my job easier coming into her system. I mean, she could literally market and sell what she's got
Yeah,
going on.
That's why we're
because
building the
it's-
university.
It's so incredible. So she's really got your back. And like she said, you take the time to grow your business, not sit down and do paperwork all day. It's worth the $400. I mean, it's a great grant. So
Yeah, thank you.
you're welcome.
I did not pay her to say that. I didn't.
And I want to say, as a busy agent, that I've had other agents that have joined EXP with me,
Mhm.
that, when they didn't have a TC, now they do.
Mhm.
All they have to do is one deal,
Right.
one extra deal, and it pays.
For the year, absolutely.
Yeah, it really is worth it, because
Yeah.
we need to be out there doing what we're really good at,
Uh-huh.
and we're really good at selling real estate.
And it's a
So-
write-off.
Yeah.
If you think about it that way, it's a business expense. So if you pay people outside of what you're doing, if it's not coming back to you as income and you're paying somebody for something else, it's a write-off. So again, we keep all the paperwork for you so that you can write off literally everything in real estate. So, yeah.
I just want to mention too, your rates are awesome. And for what you do, that's fantastic. I mean, I've had deals where I've paid significantly more than that, let's just say, for some TC work. So
Yeah. I know, I
Awesome.
overdo it though. I'm an overachiever. And my
Oh,
arms
you're
are really
awesome.
good in
So
this
thank
mud,
you.
so. Right, I look like I have guns, but they're not. Like, I'm just gonna stand like this.
The shadows.
Yeah, it's great. I look amazing right now.
Ashley, I'm gonna be disappointed if you do not have a question or a comment. I'm not shutting off Zoom.
But
until you say-
Ashley's also a brain too, because she's not only a TC, but she's also an agent. She just came over and she's an accountant. Ugh, put a bullet in my head right now. Like, she's a numbers. She's in 2 states. Yeah, she's a numbers girl. So
Yeah,
pat on your back.
more of my questions are gonna be more on like the back end of what you do. So I don't know if it's like applicable to this training, but I definitely want to give you a call on.
Absolutely. But like I said, I'm building a TC university because there's so many agents that do like to do what we do. So I'm building a university that's all virtual online. And Karen was my first guinea pig, and hopefully it's working out for her. So.
And Pedro and Shantae, I don't know if you caught it earlier, but have a consultation with her if you're interested in having somebody, because she's not in Oregon yet, but she will be able to help you in your state as well. It's just a familiarization with the paperwork,
Exactly.
but the process is the same.
You
one.
guys,
Process is the same.
Pedro just joined EXP last night.
Woo!
Yes, we're
You're gonna be
happy.
so mad that you didn't do it years ago. I'm not kidding. I keep myself like every day. So yeah, you're gonna love it. Welcome
Awesome.
to the team.
Anybody else? Going once, Sherry.
On social media, you charge $75 a month.
Mhm.
How many posts do you do?
So with Facebook, I do Instagram, I do 2 posts a week, and Facebook, I do 3 posts a week. And they're all about different events. So I'll do, if you're doing an open house or a new listing, it's more community based. So it's more like, this is to engage with your clients or the people that are looking at your social media. You want to engage with them. That's how social media works. You want the engagement, not just to say, "Ooh, look how cool I am." It's engagement. You want them to talk to you. So that's what we want them to do. And I want to make you look like that you're a community expert. So it's community based for sure. You're welcome. Anything else?
Thank you, Missy.
You're welcome. Thanks,
I
guys.
appreciate that.
For having us.
Thank you for helping me. So, hang on for just one more second. We do have a sponsor here in person today that brought us lunch.
Oh, yes.
Our
was just
sponsor was supposed to come, it's supposed to be Tyler.
Oh, okay, got it.
So I brought JT up here because this is an introduction from JT. And so come on up in here. So if you guys can make it here in person, this is actually where it gets good. Because we kind of casually like have lunch and we network, we mastermind, and we get to know each other a little bit better. So I know it's a long ways from Oregon, but we love you guys too. I don't know what other states we have on here, but let us help you create this type of community in your area so that you have this going on. Say hi.
So investor cash flow, yes.
No, we love you guys. So I'm gonna let JT introduce our sponsor, and we always appreciate you guys, and let's make some connections, get to know each other.
Definitely. So this is one of my best friends, Lindsay. Getting on, come up here, Lindsay, if you don't mind. I've been working with Lindsay for a little over 2 years between insurance and real estate, and she's helped Alex and I out tremendously through us getting started with real estate. She makes the transactions seamless on her end with the lending side, and I couldn't be any more appreciative. So I'll let her tell you a little bit more about herself.
Thanks, Shinky, that's so nice of you.
Awesome.
I passed out, well, I guess I should say, I'm Lindsay with Direct Mortgage. Thank you for the introduction. I am Lindsay Van Otten, like JT said, with Direct Mortgage Corporation. I passed out some flyers to the in-person people here, but I just wanted to talk about our investor cash flow product today, just a little bit. This is a very unique non-QM product, and we do offer a bunch of non-QM products. So if you're kind of looking for something out of the box, reach out to me. We might have something that fits. So qualifications for our investor cash flow. Qualification is based on property cash flow. So a minimum of 1 debt service coverage ratio of 1%. A minimum of 700 FICO and 80% LTV. You can, if you go to 75% LTV, there is no DSCR needed. So that's interesting, and that's kind of cool. No personal income needed, no employment needed. All we need is your bank statements.
Wow.
So credit scores starting at 600. So if you're doing a cash out refi, the minimum credit score is 660. If you're doing an interest only product, the minimum credit score is 680. So keep that in mind. We do 40-year fixed rate interest onlys, or you can just do, a 30-year term if you want. And then loans up to 1.5 million, 75,000 minimum. And there's no limit on total number of properties. So you can have 20 investment properties with this product. Purchase and cash out or rate and term refinances, we have all of those. And properties can be in an LLC's name. A question I had recently was how many people can be on the LLC. We can have 2 people on the LLC. If there's more, they won't fit into this, this product. And non-warrantable condos are okay. So that's good to know as well. But anyways, does anybody have any questions for me?
That's a great product. This is a good
Yeah,
talking
it is.
point with
This
your
is
SOI guys. There's a lot of people that probably, oh, I can't buy because I don't have a job history, or I don't have this. They want to get into a rental property. That has nothing to do with their income. It's the property's income, right?
Exactly.
Nice little niches like this is what get you business.
No, this really is how a lot of us are getting more deals, is finding lenders that have cool things. I have not seen this. This is awesome.
Yeah,
This is
pretty
really
cool.
Yeah, this
awesome.
is really cool. Lindsay, do you have cards?
I do. They're all by the lunch boxes that are set up on there.
And Lindsay, are you licensed in any other states?
I am not, but my office is licensed everywhere. So
You can do a hookup.
I think the only states we can't do this product was Alaska and I'm drawing a blank, some other random state. But every other state we can do it.
Okay,
So, yeah, 46 states we can do this.
Nice. Any questions for Lindsay? Cool, cool. Well, you're gonna stick around for a minute and
Yeah,
say
I'd love
hi,
to.
and you guys can, if questions come up, ask her. So appreciate you. Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much. Thanks for having me, guys.
Does anyone have questions online?
I don't know. Unmute yourself, anyone?
Yeah, I had a question for Jeff.
Jeff, for
What do you
you.
think? Oh, for me?
What's an
Dude.
SOI?
What's my what?
What's an SOI?
Sphere of influence. So SOI, it's just your database, your contact. It's depending on what brokerage you came up in, I guess they call it something else or whatever, but it's SOI, sphere of influence.
Thank you. No question,
Yeah.
is a dumb question.
No, that's right. No, I love questions.
Thank you.
Okay, all right, guys, we're going to break. We're gonna have some lunch. We're gonna visit. Love you guys. Thanks for plugging in. Reach out if there's anything that we can do for you.
Awesome.
And that's a wrap.
Wow. Well, I love what you offer.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, you're like the
I-
complete blend.
I-